All right, day one. Hey, we arrived in the East Village after a long red-eye flight. We got some coffee, and then we were lucky enough, our host decided we could check in early at our Airbnb, which was great. We dropped our bags off, and we walked through Chinatown and over to the Brooklyn Bridge. What do you guys think of New York so far? What do you think of New York so far?
It's good. It's also walking.
Checked out Dumbo, and we ate some delicious barbecue. A place called Bark. My wife wanted to check it out. It was delicious. Not cheap, but awesome. Brooklyn Bridge was awesome. You know, tons of people, tons of tchotchkes being sold, as you'd expect, but it was great.
God, that engine's so loud.
Anyways, after getting stuffed on barbecue, we took the ferry and headed over to Wall Street, where we saw where a bunch of money is made and lost. We also saw the stained glass at Trinity Church. That was pretty amazing. Not that I'd ever stepped foot in there, but it was still pretty cool to see. Oh, we also saw the Trump building. The Trump building was pretty awesome. It'd be pretty interesting to see. They've got a $138 million loan due on the property in a couple years, so it might get a name change. You never know. Anyways, after Wall Street, we headed back to the East Village, grabbed some groceries, and got some much needed rest. Bing! Day two. Lots of walking today. Started in Midtown and went to a couple museums, then walked through Central Park. We ate a pretzel and then went to the Apple flagship store, where I took a class on Swift playgrounds. Maybe I can become a coder in my second life. Anyways, we hopped on the subway and went down to the World Trade Center Memorial. That was pretty sobering. We checked out the Oculus, which is right near the memorial, and that is a really amazing architectural feat. Anyways, after the Oculus, we walked through there, we hopped on the subway, and we went down to Grand Central Station. We ate some delicious tacos, and then we headed back to the East Village. Day three. Today we took the Staten Island Ferry and checked out the Statue of Liberty. Would highly recommend doing it that way rather than booking a tour. You get almost as close as the tour operators, plus it's free. Who can argue with free? We swung by a bodega, we got some sandwiches and some hot coffee, and then we walked down to Casey Neistat's studio on Broadway. Could only see some gaff tape and a surfboard hanging in the window, but it was still cool to see. I've been watching Casey's videos probably for 10 plus years, so just kind of neat for me to see. Anyways, after that we hopped on the subway and we headed to Midtown, where we went to Hudson Yards. Kai, what did you think of the Hive? And we saw some amazing architecture, and then we walked what's called the High Line, which is about 1.5 mile walking path above Manhattan, and we grabbed a subway into the East Village. Later that night, I took Kai to a chess club that was nearby, where you could get some pickup games and learn some strategy. The owner was really nice and offered to coach Kai when he had some downtime. Day four. Today was rainy and cold, so we went to MoMA. I really liked it. They had an animation series on how they create and build action figures in film. At this point, I think the cold and travel was catching up to all of us, and we just hopped on the subway, went back to our Airbnb, and we called it an early night. Today was another cold and sometimes snowy day. We went over to the Met, which is in Central Park, and spent a good chunk of the day at the museum. They had Picasso's, Van Gogh's, and all other smart artists that I don't know anything about, but it's pretty amazing. Anyways, I mostly like the medieval armor and the weapons. That was awesome. It was a great time. I always kind of shine museums, but whenever I go, I really enjoy myself. Kai was tired, so we took him home, and Chieko and I went and had some ramen and grabbed some groceries and went back to the Airbnb. Day 6. Beautiful weather today. Feels like almost spring. Chieko, what is your favorite part of New York been so far?
Walk around.
Walk around?
Yes.
Is it because you're with me?
No.
We went to Chinatown and ate at a restaurant that was recommended to us. And had some sweet buns to finish it off. That was really good. The lady working at the bun shop yelled at me, so I knew the food was going to be great. After that, we took the subway to Times Square, bought tickets for Aladdin, which we were planning to see the following night. While the day was sunny, the night was really cold. The wind kicked up and just ripped through the buildings.
What are your thoughts, Chieko, on Times Square?
Very busy and cold.
And right through our clothes. It was freezing. Kai kept bugging me to take him back to the chess club, so I took him there on the way back to play some pickup games. He made a few friends. I played a few pickup games myself, but got absolutely smoked. Today was another beautiful day. I went out by myself to Lower East Side Skate Park. I don't skate much anymore, but I still like watching it. After that, I rented a city bike and took my life into my own hands, riding it through the streets of Manhattan. Later that night, we ended up seeing Aladdin. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it much more than I thought. It was a good reminder to keep an open mind and be willing to try new things.
I want to tell you, one of his ambassadors, that's right. I'm here on a high and holy mission from God Almighty, His Majesty, the highest authority, the King of the heavenlies.
Where is the ice cream?
The maker of the heaven and the earth. To tell you you're cursed and it's time to turn back.
There we go.
No.
Eight. We had an early flight, so we're up early and off to JFK. It was a great trip. People were nice, and the subway and city were relatively easy to figure out. I highly recommend anyone contemplating
Is this
a
it?
visit
Is this
to
your
New
ramen
York
place?
to do so. There's something there for absolutely everyone.
Two Brothers Pizza, that.
But Jesus Christ said you must be born again to see the kingdom of heaven. The only door to heaven, the only way to heaven is the Lord Jesus Christ. You need the Lordship of Jesus. You have a master tonight. Many of you use your masturbation. You have this fantasy love relationship with your favorite fallen porn star, and you know you're in love with, you know, you like looking at other men, their nakedness, and somebody's gonna trespass your house. Sir, if you built the house with your own hands, you laid the foundation.